Yo, what's up? It's the Prodigy, man, back with another video. Kicking off summer of Prodigy quite well, man. Plan on recording every day. Honestly, now that I finally figured out how to do the reaction videos, at least in my way for now, we are about to do another reaction. The summer of the Prodigy is about to continue. We getting started. I might post 2, 3 videos today. This is gonna be one of them. Definitely gonna post more than one, but this is the first one we're gonna do. So, for the people who don't know, I am a wrestling fan. So right now we're about to react to Polana Productions. Hot Takes is basically where his fans puts their thoughts and opinions in there, and they basically say what they think, and he gives his kind of thoughts on it. And I'm gonna give my thoughts on it, or if I agree with it or not. So without wasting any more time, let's get into this video. Let's go.
What is up, guys, and welcome back to another video. And today we have another episode of My Hot Takes. You know the drill. You guys send over some of your hot takes and I react to it. Anyways, let's get right into the first one, which comes from HAMD, and he says people wanted CM Punk to return so bad, and now Punk isn't even the most major reason people tune into AEW. FTR and MJF are carrying AEW.
I ain't gonna lie, MJF carrying AEW. I feel like it's one of those things where if you want to think of someone who's captivating or someone who like is to look forward to on AEW television, it's like he's got to be your number one. Especially this is after the promo and all that stuff. So some of the takes are out before the promo, or all of these takes are before the promo. So, but that promo was freaking amazing. I feel like MJF has shown that he's a bright star in the company. CM Punk, it's like, yeah, people did want him bad. I don't think, yeah, I mean, I think he's at least one of them. I think he's at least one of the reasons people tune in. Some people say he's not a major reason of why people tune in. I think he's one of them. I think he's one of them. I think maybe this person is talking about he's not the main guy.
And I think that's straight up wrong. I don't know why, but the IWC do this thing where they kind of turn on people the minute they come back or the minute they get a push. And the same thing is happening to CM Punk, because this isn't the only hot take where I saw this. I saw other people saying that he was burying all the talent or that his run has been boring, and I just don't understand that whatsoever. A lot of people are trying to take CM Punk's return and make it look like
I feel like his run could have been better.
that's true whatsoever. CM Punk's return to AEW has been a lot of fun, and I'm not saying this is the majority of people, but I do see a small portion of people commenting these kinds of things. I just think it's wrong. If that's what you believe, that's fine, but I'm gonna disagree. I think that CM Punk is a major reason people watch AEW, and he's definitely a part of MJF and FTR when carrying the company and all the other acts.
I mean, they got a lot of people, so I don't think anyone's specifically carrying.
If Logan Paul becomes an active competitor, he would be one of the best celebrity wrestlers. I can see him going for the US or IC championship.
I think that's a bit
and I'm
of a
gonna
reach.
be 100% real with you guys. If Logan Paul is an active wrestler in the WWE, he should become the WWE champion. I don't care what anyone says. I know it sounds crazy. I know a lot of you think I'm a lunatic right now.
You are.
Logan Paul should be the WWE champion if he's an active wrestler after like maybe 6 or 7 months on the main roster. I don't think that's going to happen, but I'm just saying if that does happen, we should definitely give him the title.
That's the last thing you want to give somebody.
Because the guy's huge.
I don't even mind Logan.
A lot of ass because he was a boxer. He did box Floyd Mayweather and other people, and also he was an amateur wrestler, so you could believe him being a champion, and that would be great for the mainstream media with WWE. They would get
I feel like it's not gonna hit as hard as people think it would.
Push for it.
No free advertisement. That's what I say every time an ad pop up. About to turn this thing back up now.
Charlie says that Cody Rhodes is honestly one of the GOATs. How he reinvented himself on the indies, literally created AEW, and he has now gone back to WWE. His journey is fascinating.
I think Cody has had a very unique journey. Cody Rhodes has definitely done something that a lot of no one really has done. Like, no one's gone on the indies, went back to the WWE and did, but like he did it in a much bigger way. He made a name for him. Well, first of all, he was in WWE. They didn't really see potential in him at first. He didn't like the direction he was going, so then he left, made a name for himself on the indies, had some legendary moments, and then he's part of the reason why AEW, the second biggest wrestling company in the world, part of their creation, be one of the EVPs. So I think that is freaking cool how he truly has done something that like no one's done before. He's like in terms of just strictly not going into the mainstream, none of that. Like he's one of the people I feel like is the only person like who stayed in wrestling and came back to WWE in like the biggest way. I don't think no one's done it as big as he's done it in terms of leaving, being part of the second biggest company in the world in pro wrestling, and then going back to the biggest pro wrestling company in the world. I don't think anyone no one's. Usually, if you became a bigger star and came back to the WWE, you probably did some mainstream stuff first and then you came back. But nah, he stayed strictly in wrestling, and now he's become more valuable to them, even though he always was. It's just WWE didn't see that in him. But it's cool to see that he's there now, and that he's one of the few reasons why people tune in, because WWE refuses to make new stars. They only have a limited amount of people. But nah, he's reinvented himself like no one ever has, in terms of just no one's done it in that big of a way. It's people who've gone back to the indies and made a bigger name for themselves, but like no one's done it that huge.
And I would not consider him a GOAT, because to be in that category, they got to do a lot of things. You have to have a great impact in the business, and I just don't think Cody Rhodes has that much of an impact. Like, yes, he does have somewhat of an impact when it comes to AEW.
I think he's getting up there. GOAT is usually after you can like done some huge things, like a lot of huge moments.
That could change depending on what happens next in his career. We will have to wait and see. But as of right now, Charlie, I'm gonna have to disagree with you. Jordan says that Randy Orton is the #1 wrestler of our generation. The Legend Killer, the Viper, and now RK Bro have all went over. It is a combination of longevity, character development, feuds, and putting over other guys and championships for me.
Oh, specifically wrestling, he's still doing good, but um, uh, it's just there's too many good wrestlers out there for me to say he's the best wrestler. I don't know. I think you could definitely put him up there as one of them, but to say he's the best wrestler, I don't know. You got to consider a lot of people. Like in terms of this generation, you got to consider like Bryan Danielson, Kenny Omega, especially Seth Rollins. People like Cody Rhodes. There's a lot of people to consider before you get to Randy Orton in terms of like who you like are excited to see them wrestle in the ring. I feel like there's a lot of people you got to go through, but definitely I would say that Orton has had a legendary career. Wish he wasn't an RK Bro, because that tag team to me is getting annoying, but because he's much better off as a heel. But I digress. Let's keep going.
And I'm going to have to agree with Jordan. I actually think that you can make the case and say that Randy Orton is the greatest wrestler of all time in any generation. And I think a lot of people will believe that by the end of his career. But right now, I see it. I think this Randy Orton, what he's accomplished in the last 20 years, has been a lot. I think he's done so much. I think he
wish he was a heel. Him as a face, I just can't buy it. He doesn't even have a heel. He literally has a heel look. I can't even buy into him as a good guy.
VHS Ring says that Roman Reigns matches are starting to get boring and predictable.
I hate when people use boring and predictable in the same sentence at the wrong time, because I'm like, when something's predictable, that doesn't always mean it's bad or boring. Because imagine if he loses to like, oh, okay, so if it was too, yeah, it's like that's the fickleness, right? Like they'll be like, oh, they're getting predictable and boring, but then if he would have lost to someone like Seth, they would have been like, why did they do that? All that title reign for nothing. So it's like, you can't really do it with wrestling fans. I don't think he's getting boring. I just think people haven't seen dominance like this in a while, like especially having the title for over 600 days. In terms of like the main roster wrestling, like with the main championship, they haven't seen, because they've done it on the UK, but for the WWE, they haven't done like long title reigns like that in a while. And when fans are conditioned, that's WWE's fault though. They're conditioned to like short title reigns or nothing past 200, not much past 200-300 days. So now that someone's going like twice that, almost 3 times that, they're always gonna say he's boring. He's boring. It's because they've been conditioned to shorter title reigns.
I don't agree. I think it was honestly just the match with Brock Lesnar. I don't know why, but Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns either have a lot of chemistry together in the match, or they're straight up boring. And unfortunately, some of their last matches were kind of boring.
They're redundant. It's just a lot of power moves with him and Brock.
put Roman Reigns with someone like Finn Balor or even John Cena from last year or Edge, Daniel Bryan. He put on a lot of bangers. I think he just needs to get the right opponents, and I think Drew McIntyre
I think they
is
messed up
perfect
Finn
for that
Balor.
job. My ink says that the current U.S. title is the best U.S. title of all time, and it is not appreciated enough.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't think the U.S. title looks bad at all. Honestly, it looks funny enough. It looks like they put more creativity than the world title. So I think that's pretty crazy. But I will say I do like the belt. It looks more serious to me, even though I did like the design beforehand. But I feel like it looks like more of a championship belt to me now. So I actually don't mind it.
I'm just going to assume that you mean the design, and if you do mean the design, I agree with you. It is definitely the best looking design. For some reason, some people like the old U.S. title, but I thought that was hideous. If I'm going to be completely honest with you, it was never that.
It looks like a way more serious belt.
And I think the current U.S. title is the best looking title right now in all of WWE, and I really mean that. It looks sexy for being completely real.
All right, bro, calm down. No free advertisement.
Sharpie.
All right, turn that back up. Turn it back up.
Dan Brown says that Asuka will retire as one of the greatest women wrestlers of all time.
I can agree.
That's not really a hot take. I don't think she is going to be the GOAT, but she's definitely going to be one of the best ever lace-up boots. I think Asuka has had a great career.
I think they've just ruined a lot of her title reigns at the expense of other people.
So much to the table, you gotta love her. Michael said that people need to stop complaining about Balor losing. Look at Johnny Gargano when he was losing a lot, and then he won the North American title and the NXT title. Balor constantly losing could lead to something bigger.
I'm gonna be honest with you, it's not. If you don't see it, because that's a completely different angle. First of all, they're in NXT, so you know they had a plan. Original NXT, they had a plan if they had something like that happening. But with the main roster, if you're losing like that, it's because that's how they see you, as a loser. They don't see you as anything valuable to add to the company. That's why I think he should bring out his demon character more, because I get it. You don't want to rely on that and make it seem like that's all you have. But to be honest, if they don't see anything in you without the demon character, you might as well bring it back. There's no harm in that. So it's not going to lead to anything. When you're talking about the main roster, it's not leading to nothing. If you're losing like consistently, it's because that's how they see you, as just a loser, someone to job out to.
I love the guy. I absolutely adore him. I want him to get a push, but it's never going to happen. I know you say that it might happen. It could lead to something.
I remember when he was a big star coming up on the main roster in 2016.
Finn Balor. It's unfortunate, and hopefully it does change, but I just don't think that's realistic. So I'm sorry, Michael. I'm going to have to disagree with you. Let's hope that you are right, and I can come back to say this. And I can come back to this comment and say that I was wrong. I would love for that to happen. This is a long hot take, and they say I can't help but feel that everyone has taken the mid-card scene for granted. In recent years, so many fans and wrestlers alike seem to have treated mid-card as a low spot. There is no need to make every single wrestler into world champions. That's what makes the main event seem so prestigious. It's the fact that very few.
But that's like saying you want to level people on the roster
for younger new talents. I think
so that the world title contenders seem more prestigious, so you level out everyone else. That doesn't make sense.
For instance, in my opinion, Scott Hall, Roddy Piper, and Ricky Steamboat are three of the greatest mid-carders to ever lace up.
But those are mid-carders who shouldn't have been mid-carders.
They made the IC championship really worth something fighting for, rather than treating it.
But usually, if they made mid-card titles prestigious, because they had world championship material, so that's where he's getting it wrong.
No disrespect to them. Even the Attitude Era, almost every other mid-carder at the time was over as hell. Today, the business is in desperate need of some good career mid-carders, and we shouldn't be treating it so much like a curse. That is the bottom.
We're not treating it like it's a curse. They're treating it like it's a curse, and it's reflecting on us. That's exactly what's happening.
And honestly, there is nothing else to add. This guy gave us an entire 5-paragraph essay, the thesis and everything. The supporting evidence was there, and they are spot on. The mid-card deserves some love. Rashino says that Logan and Jake Paul should be in the WWE. Their personalities as a heel tag team would go hard, in my opinion. They just get it. And if Logan Paul does come back in WWE and doesn't win the championship, and if he's not an active wrestler, I would love it for him to win the tag team championships and have like a 2 or 3 month reign with his brother.
I don't know what people think. Like, okay, I get it. They kind of got the heel thing already, but if you want to think about them cutting a promo, that's not going to go well.
Just imagine the heat they would get if they beat Randy Orton and Matt Riddle for those tag titles.
I think people are overdoing it.
Moxie BBX says that Shawn Michaels is the most influential wrestler.
He got good heel
he's
heat though
ever
at Mania.
been, and I disagree. I don't think he's the most influential wrestler. I think Ric Flair's up there. I think you have John Cena.
I think you
have
could.
The
You definitely have to put him up there
Shawn
though.
is the most influential wrestler.
He says he's the most influential. You gotta put him up there.
I don't think he's the most influential wrestler. I think Ric Flair's up there.
I think he's one of.
Cena, you have The Undertaker, and Shawn Michaels is definitely there, but not the most influential. He's in the top 10 maybe, but not the most. So sorry, Mox.
I agree with that though in terms of one of, because people doing super kicks nowadays. I wonder who that came from.
In a couple of months, Edge is probably going to go back to being a face again, and Damian Priest will go back to being confusing. I find that to be funny because the whole Damian Priest part was just super funny, but I don't think this is going to happen.
I think with Edge, they've actually treated him well, and they're going to actually hopefully give some direction to Judgment Day. Although I don't know if Ciampa or what's his name, Balor should join, because I'd love to see a heel Balor on the main roster.
And I'll see you all in the next video.
All right, bet. That was the video right there. So, as we wrap that up, man, I hope you guys enjoyed the video thoroughly. I'm going to be doing some more. I'm going to be posting some more videos throughout the day. Hope you were entertained. Tell your friends. Tell everybody. Hit that subscribe button, because ain't no way that my last video got 64, 65 views. And you don't at least have half those people subscribing. So, man, hit that subscribe button. Don't forget on the way out. Hey, you can even not even watch me again. Just at least give me the subscription, man. Ain't nothing wrong with that. But appreciate you if you made it this far. I will see you guys in the next video. Posting another one. Peace.